Hello my friend, today we'll be doing a track review for the song Believe in brackets Festival Mix by Mallgrab off of his upcoming Worship Friendship LP, a large collection of songs that he has coming out. We'll be doing a initial reaction followed by a deeper track review coming up right after the drop. Alright, if you're new to the channel, my name is Matt from Best Friends Club. I make music and I do track reviews and stuff like that quite recently. If that sounds cool to you, like and subscribe and all that other crap. But for now, Mallgrab, Believe. I'm kind of looking forward to something that kind of rave, housey, maybe techno-y kind of stuff. I kind of hope this is one of those tracks that he has with that like black guy voice that comes in. Can't remember any of the song names right now, but he has a couple of them and those are always so cool. So hoping for something like that, something a little bit more upbeat. I know that this record, all the profits are going for something to do with the, situation that's going on right now. So that's cool. If you want to pick it up, I'll put the link in the description. Other than that, we'll get right into the first reaction and I'm going to throw it on right now and I'll let you know what my initial impressions are. Here we go. Cool. So that was pretty good. I liked it for sure. There's a lot of high energy in that track, which I definitely like. The drums hit hard right off the bat. It has that cool distorted lo-fi sound that you would expect from Mallgrab at this point. One interesting thing was a vocal sample comes in, like a old school soul house kind of vocal sample, which I feel like Mallgrab doesn't do that often, or at the very least hasn't done in quite a while, which is very cool. And then eventually that evolves into this part where there's these classic house chords, like piano house chords, which is super cool. I don't think I've really heard Mallgrab do that, so that's kind of interesting. And it's done in a very Mallgrab way, which is super cool. It's initially, first impression is super awesome. I think it's a good one. It's cool to hear that he's kind of evolving his sound a little bit. Last little while, it seemed like there was quite a bit of more synth-based stuff that he was playing in. Now it sounds like there's some kind of samples coming in a little bit more, and that like his take on the classic piano house sound is pretty cool. And then also there's a 16th note snare roll in some of the breaks, which is kind of cool. I don't think I've really heard him use that too much before. So I'm gonna go on a nice little walk. I'm still in Vancouver and it's super beautiful out here. So I'll listen to the track 4, 5, 6 more times and then I'll come back and do a deeper review. So I'll see you in a second. Alright, so I just got back to listening to it about 4 or 5 more times. Overall vibe, I think I like it quite a bit. It's very upbeat, which is perfect during these kind of crazy times that we're in right now. Moving from the beginning of the track to the end, the drums hit hard at the beginning. They got that cool, distorted lo-fi sound you'd expect from Mallgrab. Similar to my initial impressions, when the bass comes in, it's more or less just doing its job. It's not my favorite part of the track, but it's doing a solid thing down there, kind of low, keeping everything moving and grooving. The true stars of the show, though, are definitely that vocal sample and the piano sample. Right off the bat, those classic house chords, I think that's pretty new to the Mallgrab sound. It's cool that he's experimenting and adding new things in. And he kind of has the same processing that he usually does on a lot of his other stuff. So it has that kind of lo-fi distorted sound. So it kind of fits in quite well with everything. Moving on to the vocal sample, the other star of the show. I feel like, again, he hasn't done that in a while, so it's cool to hear something like that. And again, it has that similar processing to make it kind of a bit distorted, a bit more of the high end rolled off so that it has that lo-fi sound. And there's also a couple of interesting things that happen with the interplay between these two elements. So in one of the first breaks, the vocal sample is kind of the main element of the break, with the piano sample kind of fading in before the next drop. And then a break after that, or maybe 2 breaks after that, the roles are reversed. So the main sound is the chords and the vocals are actually coming in. I thought that was a very interesting thing. And if you pick up on it, you'll probably think that's pretty cool as well. Another thing about the breaks, there's 16th note snare rolls, which I think he doesn't usually do too often, so it's cool to hear that. But one thing that I didn't pick up on the first listen was there's actually some accents going on with the snare roll, as well as some like micro timing, so some swing going on. So it doesn't sound like just a straight snare roll. There's like a little bit of a vibe to it, which I think is very cool, a little bit more unique. Moving from the breaks, it probably makes sense now to talk about some of the very cool fills that happen in between parts of the track. There's one part early on where everything kind of reverses, which I thought was super duper cool, a really cool way to transition into the next part. And there's also a couple parts where the piano part is kind of like jittering up, which I think is a really cool way to fill into the next track. And really more on the arrangement there in general. I think that's one of the strong suits of this track, the way that it's not a standard house arrangement or composition. Basically, the song evolves throughout the track in the way that the vocal sample changes over time. So more breaks and parts of the vocal sample come in, and then the way that there will be the vocal sample on its own, and then maybe the vocal sample and the piano chords, and then maybe the vocal sample and the piano chords and the kind of synthy chords in the background. Basically, there's different combinations of those three that happen over time to kind of make the song more interesting, which I think is really cool. And other than that, the overall vibe's upbeat, which I really do love. I could see this definitely being more in the peak part of a DJ set, in the sense that this is definitely more of a banger, more positive. People would fucking go crazy for those chords and that little bit of the vocal sample. That gets booty shaking for sure. So with that said, it's not my favorite song of all time, particularly from Mallgrab. Maybe after more listens, I'll kind of change my mind. But right now, I'm going to give that just a solid 7.2 is where I'm sitting on with this one. So what do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree with my thoughts? And if you like that, then I guess subscribe or do whatever. It's your life, so you can do whatever you want. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll try to get a better outro going out next time. See ya.